Hi everybody. Today I'd like to talk about the jazz minor scale. Now, the jazz minor scale is probably one of the most modern sounding scales in jazz. In fact, there's a sort of a jazz joke. It's the ECF scale. I suppose you have to be into jazz to appreciate how funny that is. It is kind of funny. It's a very dark sounding scale. So it's got all these kind of sounds. You know, it's sort of murky and all those kind of sounds. You know, it's real. Like if we were to do all of me. Usually it's that. This is like the normal kind of chords for all of me. If I was to play it with using harmony based on the jazz minor, it'd be kind of like now, that tune is a sort of a pre-bebop tune, so it doesn't lend itself to the jazz minor kind of sound, you know what I mean? It's a very modern kind of sound. You gotta kind of be thinking Keith Jarrett, Herbie Hancock, kind of John Coltrane, that kind of dark, moody sound. So let's have a look at it, right? The jazz minor is a major scale with one note changed and the third note is changed. So basically it's a major scale with a flattened third. So it's G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And this one note changes everything and makes your fingering really weird. It makes just the chords, you can extrapolate from the scale to be really mad, but it captures pretty much the modern sound of jazz from the 1960s onwards. So it's really an important scale. So let's have a look at it. So like I say, the only difference between jazz minor and a major scale is the third. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the modes of the jazz minor. First mode, minor. Right, so goes without saying, any kind of minor chord. So anywhere where, particularly when the minor is the root, you know what I mean? If a song is in a minor key, you know what I mean? Like Sunny. Let's start again. Do you know what I mean? Like, that first part, the G minor part, was melodic minor territory. Right, so any sort of, where the minor is the root, jazz minor. So let's look at the modes now, alright? So the second mode is an A. And where this one kind of works is that sort of suspended sound. Do you know the way if you have, like, as an intro to a tune, you might have an A suspended. And then it launches into D. Something like that, right? But in the jazz minor, that suspended is kind of altered. It's a kind of darker alternative to your really bright, happy suspended. And you kind of get this sound. You can still launch into something in D with this as an intro. But the scale then that goes with it. Again, the first mode of the G melodic minor, or the G jazz minor. So it's a great intro. It's also great, that sort of suspended sound is great as a substitution for a 2 and a 5. So if you have a 2, let's say, if you've got something like, instead of just doing this, you can kind of go, and the suspended kind of covers the 2 and the 5. Well, with the melodic minor thing, it's an altered sound. It's kind of like, it's a bit darker and a bit smellier, if you like. So you can still do that. So it's just an alternative. And really the modes of the melodic minor are sort of alternatives to sounds that you already know. Right? So, like for example, right, the next one, classic, is a major 7th, but it's a major 7th with a sharp 5, and this gives you an out option on major 7th chords, which is a bit weird because we're sort of used to hearing major 7s as really pretty in chords, you know. First time I heard that chord, I thought it was gorgeous, like, but that's nice and pretty and nice. But if you wanted to play stuff that was a bit, that jarred a bit against those kind of sounds, then the third mode of the jazz minor, in this case is a B flat major 7 with a sharp 5, is the sound. You kind of get. The jazz minor presents an out there sound for major 7 chords. Weird, I grant you, but I mean, you won't be playing it on wagon wheel anytime soon. But you know what I mean? If you want to get into the likes of Keith Jarrett or Joe Coltrane or Archie Shepp or people like that, do you know what I mean? These are the sounds that they use, right? The next one is a C7, but it has a flat 5 in there, which gives it a sort of, again, its own colour and flavour. This is actually the chord used. This is the second chord used in Take the A Train. So if you can imagine, Take the A Train in B flat. Kind of has that sound. It's a dominant 7 sound with this that extra bit of smelliness that the jazz minor brings. That sort of flat 5 sound. It has that. I have a tendency to use it when the 2 chord in whatever key is a dominant sound. You know, if you're in B flat, and the next chord, like Girl from Ipanema, I mean, well, just to my ears, that sounds cool. When it's the 2 chord, of whatever key you're in. So in this case, we're using C7, so that's the 2 chord. That would be the 2 chord of B flat, if you like. Right, so. Anyway, it's an option. It's just another option if you're playing a dominant sound. Instead of sort of those bright sort of dominant 7 sound, when you add in that sort of F sharp against the C7, it darkens it up a bit. Anyway, the next one is another 7, D7, right? It's D7, and we're doing the G jazz minor. So D7 is the dominant of G. So it's basically I find that one really works in sort of a Django-y kind of context. You know what I mean? If you're there we go. I'm not very used to this one. I don't use it too often, but I do do it in a sort of a Django-y kind of context. Anyway, so that one. We'll move on from that one because you have found my Achilles heel, the jazz minor, that particular one. Anyway, right. So the next one is the one based on E, is the minor 7 flat 5. And again, great scale to play over minor 7 flat 5, and it's a bit different in that it has the natural 9th. So E, F sharp, G, which gives it a weird sound, cool kind of sound. That's that one. And the last one is the coolest of all. Right? The 7th degree of any scale when you're doing modes is always the weird one. It's always that one that they can never quite fit into a box. But this one is the most altered out scale you can play over a dominant 7th, known as the super lock rhythm. Right? So F sharp. You're an F sharp dominant. The G jazz minor just sounds a charm over it in a real dark, broody sort of way. Now I accept it is not a very happy sounding scale. You're not going to be playing it on Mr. Blue Skies anytime soon. But it has a kind of a sound. It has all those kind of sounds. All those sort of dark, broody sounds. So it's something to mess about with. And as I say, really simple as regards working out what it is. It's a major scale with a flattened chord. Hope you like what you saw. Take care.